We're winning the war we started on the World Health Organization in April 2022. Yet it's not over. Here's an update. Earlier in 2022, with support from Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Britain and the European Union, the United States proposed a pandemic treaty to the UN's World Health Organization, known as the WHO. This zero draft, as it was called, proposed giving the WHO unprecedented powers to come into member nations like Australia and impose vaccine mandates, forced vaccination, forced medical procedures, lockdowns, border closures and business closures to supposedly control the next pandemic. Even though such measures failed abysmally in the 2020 to 2024 response, fortunately, African nations came together to defeat and block the treaty. To Australia's eternal shame, our elected representatives, though, from the Liberals, Labor, Teals, Greens and Nationals, with support from health bureaucrats, voted in favour of selling out Australian sovereignty in an act of national betrayal, treachery. For the last 3 years, the treaty has been progressing through the convoluted World Health Organization. It's undergone many reviews and attempts to gain consensus support. This has now occurred. A watered-down consensus agreement is on the agenda at the World Health Assembly, which starts tonight. Fortunately, though, the consensus document looks nothing like the original zero draft. 50 pages have been taken out of the document, including all the intrusive measures and the powers to police those intrusions. This consensus document no longer sets the World Health Organization up as the World Health Police. My concern, though, is that our Australian health bureaucrats, with their globalist loyalties, will respond to the next exaggerated health emergency with measures that take away our basic human rights and attempt to justify that saying, "The WHO made me do it." This agreement does nothing of the sort. It is, though, still garbage. Information sharing is a major part of the document. Let's not forget that the WHO covered up the last pandemic's origins and covered up the harm that resulted from the responses. Vaccines, masking, lockdowns, restrictions, mandates, removal of basic human rights and fundamental medical principles and rights. It's a long list, an inhuman list. So we must ask, what information will the WHO spread? The truth? No way. This UN agreement is designed to make it easier to cover up and hide the truth. And just in case there's any doubt about the purpose of the agreement, the use of propaganda is promoted at clause 6.2.d. Trust in the UN's World Health Organization is shot. It's a pointless, corrupt organization with a former terrorist as its head to line the pockets of WHO's corporate sponsors, specifically to sell vaccines on behalf of the vaccine companies who fund the WHO. The agreement is designed to put a respectable wrapping around naked crony capitalism, fraud, theft. And one nation is having none of it. One nation opposes the pandemic agreement. It's not up to the UN World Health Organization and its 8,000 bureaucrats living the high life in cities like Geneva to tell or advise Australia what our response to a health emergency should be. Prime Minister Albanese must not sign the pandemic agreement. Instead, withdraw completely from the World Health Organization and bring our permanent delegation home from Geneva immediately.
Authorised Malcolm Roberts, Brisbane.